Okay, good morning, colleagues, colleagues from the news media. Thank you very much for joining us here today. I know we are also crossing over to Cape Town, though I don't anticipate any questions from there. We are going to have a media briefing this morning about the robbery that occurred at the Tambo International Airport on Tuesday night. Here to brief you is the Acting National Commissioner of the SAPS, Lieutenant General Phahlane, and he is accompanied by the Deputy National Commissioner of Policing, Lieutenant General Masemola, as well as the Divisional Commissioner of ORS, Operational Response Services, Lieutenant General Mawela. We are also joined by the executives of AXA, Mr. Maseko, Mr. Shabalala, and Ms. Jinners. So I know some of you are going live, so we won't delay any further, and I'll ask General Phahlane to brief you.
Thanks, Ali. Good morning to you all, and hope that you are doing well. Firstly, as the South African Police Service, we view the armed robbery which occurred on Tuesday night, the 7th of March 2017, and the attendant security breaches in a serious light. We can assure our communities and visitors to our country that we are doing everything possible to ensure that the robbery and all circumstances surrounding the incident form a subject of an intensive multidisciplinary investigation. Although this incident is regrettable and unfortunate, the South African Police Service and all role players are compelled to continuously review the security measures aimed at capping the recurrence of incidents of this nature. We have already embarked on a process as part of the investigation to identify security shortcomings and to implement appropriate measures. Although initial speculation pointed to a South African Police Service vehicle having been used to commit the crime, a vehicle which was found abandoned in Mamelodi proved to be one with fake police markings. When the perpetrators are arrested, we will not be surprised to learn that some of them were bogus police officers. However, we will investigate and arrest objectively, and should we find evidence of any type of police or other collusion, we will take decisive action. If bona fide police uniforms or equipment were used by the suspects, the source of those uniforms, equipment, will also form part of the investigation. The process of the investigation is underway, which includes interviewing all role players and personnel charged with duties in and around the airport precinct. Today, a few media articles claim that journalists breached security in the vicinity in which the robbery occurred. Security in terms of access to the airside of Otia has been enhanced, which would have made it impossible for journalists to gain access to the restricted areas. However, journalists were seen at the cargo site and at the international terminals yesterday, which are not considered to be restricted areas of the airport. We will, at this point, call upon all of us to behave responsibly and not create sensation and peddle distorted information about the security in the airports in this regard. For your information, the gate which was unfortunately used has been under lock and key throughout yesterday, and the keys of that gate were not even in the security's possession. So it cannot be that there will be any truth in the allegation that a journalist would have went through the very same gate. South African Police Service members deployed at Otia conduct their constitutionally mandated duties, which include but are not limited to patrolling the airside and escorting valuable cargo between the vault and aircraft and vice versa. On the land side, the SABC members perform general crime prevention duties. Intelligence-driven operations are conducted in the cargo area. Visible policing and crime prevention duties are conducted in the terminals, and access control is normally conducted at the gates leading to restricted areas. Between ourselves, as key role players in that space, we have engaged following this incident, which is not the only time that they would have engaged, but there is commitment from ourselves and AXA to intensify our airports, our security at the airports, to avoid the recurrence of incidents like the one that has happened. As said earlier, there is no reason why we should doubt the competency and the capability of the authorities charged with the responsibility to secure the airports. This was a security breach, and it will be dealt with accordingly. The perpetrators of the crime committed there at the airport will certainly be brought to book. We will continue to review our measures in response to the need to safeguard all in the airports of our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, General. We will take a few rounds of questions. If I can just see a show of hands, and I'll take 3 or 4 at a time. I noticed the lady and Barry behind her, and this gentleman over here. Let me take 3 at a time. So we'll start with those 3. Please identify yourself and your media house you're representing.
Thank you so much. My name is Kelden Ongmo from ANN7. I just wanted to ask, in terms of the security breach that you're mentioning, I was there yesterday at the cargo section where this incident actually took place. I spoke to some of the employees there. Most of the employees, I can say on record, 5 of them spoke to me on camera stating that they themselves, they've been working there for years and there is minimal security there. And if you pay money to someone, you can go in very easily. And also, the first half of the day I was there, I was around the premises, I was able to walk around, take visuals. I spoke to lots of employees. It was only towards the other half of the day that we were kicked out from the premises, saying now the security has been heightened. Also, Commissioner, is it possible to give few details on, just to give us amount of money that was taken? Have you all come to the conclusion on that? And where was the flight going to? Which destination? We're hearing it was London. Can you confirm that, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Barry?
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Barry Bateman, Eyewitness News. As we understand it, this was not the first incident to occur in recent times at the airport. One reported on in October, there was some freight that was stolen there. It appears a similar modus operandi was used where people dressed as police officers went onto the apron or into the area and stole the goods. The Air Freight or the Cargo Operators Association saying that at least 6 such incidents last year, and again, similar modus operandi used. What is going to change? We're hearing excellent commitments to track down those responsible and arrest them, but it appears this has been going on for at least a year. And it's continuing. The other issue relates to the increased security. The Air Freight, the Operators Association, saying that they've been negotiating with AXA for, I think, upward of 5 years to try and increase security, but there's little cooperation from the authorities. What is going to change to improve security or access availability to the particular area? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Malungelo Boy from ENC. I'm quite curious as to what exactly was taken and the value of what was taken. The other thing, I mean, Commissioner, are we looking into that this could actually be an inside job? Are we looking into that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll ask General Phahlane to answer or to assign an answer.
Thank you very much. Carlton, I know you enjoyed your time at the airport. That would have been the case because the area you find yourself in is not a restricted area. So there was no reason why people should be stopping you in that particular space. If you were to contribute positively to our safety and security, you may want to share with us the on-camera discussions that you had with the people you have spoken to. Because if there is an allegation that if you have money, you can pay them and you can go anywhere else, then something is terribly wrong if that was to be the case. There is no evidence of such, where, for example, there is criminality and those are found, they are being dealt with accordingly. I can only talk in the main on what we will do in respect of members of the South African Police Service who are there, and I know the same will apply to the AXA personnel because our priority there is to ensure that we safeguard the airport space. It's a national key point. So the area that you found yourself in, you could have moved freely, you could have taken pictures, no one would have had issues with you. But you definitely was never at the spot where this crime was committed, because there is no way that you would have gained access to that particular space. Amount of money, I think we do not want to get down to the details. Colleagues from AXA yesterday issued a statement with some detail, and I don't think we are prepared to repeat what is already it's out there in a public domain. And in any event, even if we were to be told that the amount is 24 million or the amount is 20 million, that is still subject of an investigation which must be verified, including as to where the currency, where the money was destined to, and so on. So in this press briefing, we are not going to be talking to that detail. Barry, those who are very much inclined in spreading bad news in our country have done a very good job yesterday, actually early this morning. I saw a summary of events since 2001 on one of those people of interest, and they have captured, somewhere it was talking about the highest cash heists. I think it starts from the 100 million, it goes on, and it captured the incidents at the airport, including the amounts that were involved. We are not going to say that there were never breaches in the past 6 months or year. The colleagues from AXA are here. They may want to talk to them. Our focus is on this particular matter. And I think what will be very useful is for people to come forward with information at their disposal to help us solve this matter as a matter of urgency. When they reported that there was a police vehicle, it was reported with so much confidence, as if that vehicle is verified as a police vehicle. Now that we have recovered the vehicles and have made known that those vehicles are not police vehicles, less is being said about it, contrary to the hullabaloo that was created to say police vehicles were the ones that were used in this regard. It is important for people not to jump to conclusions with limited information, to allow us an opportunity to conduct investigations and provide information which is very critical to the nation and to everyone who has got an interest, instead of us peddling distorted pictures in the media. Increased security, yes, we repeat it. We are going to increase or intensify our efforts there. There is no way that we can take things for granted, having experienced what happened on the 7th. It is our resolve with all stakeholders to continuously review the situation and deal with those gaps that are manifesting themselves to ensure that everyone is secure. We surely are not going to provide details as to what other measures we are going to be taking, but we are confident that we are going to deal with that. If there is an allegation of the company which is saying little cooperation from AXA, I think that company is contracted to AXA, and the service they render, it's a service in response to the needs that were made visible by AXA, and there is no reason why they should be lodging their grievances outside. They have got contractual obligations to make sure that we as a collective, because it can never be only one entity or one organization that contribute towards security there. But I'll ask the CEO to talk to that. Malungelo, the first one is already answered, what was taken. The second one, inside job, we may request to be allowed space to investigate. It cannot be ruled out. We cannot rule out any inside job, but we cannot rule out any collusion in this regard. But our view is that let's be allowed space to piece things together, and we will revert at an opportune moment. Maybe my colleague, the CEO, Mr. Bongani Maseko.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Barry, if I can respond to your specific issue around the cargo incident. We do encourage our cargo operators, who are also in the business of transporting valuable cargo, not in the form of cash, but valuable cargo in the form of cell phones, valuable cargo in the form of cameras that they import. We do encourage them to have a security program, because as you turn over your cargo to that company to ship it to wherever it's being shipped to, or it being shipped from its source to the destination being OR Tambo, you equally have a responsibility on making sure that you have adequate security around your cargo to ensure that it gets to its final destination. And what we have tried to emphasize to our cargo operators is that it cannot solely be the responsibility of AXA and the police to provide security. Yes, we do provide a certain level of security, but we equally encourage the cargo operators to have their own adequate security. In one you mentioned 6 incidents. I will not name the company, but they were repeated incidents of theft of cell phones in particular, and other high-end electronics. And we say to them, but you are the only people that know what is being shipped and what is being carried. So how much of your staff do you vet to ensure that, it gets known out there in the public that we're expecting a sensitive consignment? So I think it's a collective responsibility is what I'm trying to say. It cannot just be restricted to the landlord and the police. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General. Mr. Maseko. Okay, we'll take another round of questions. Let me take some newbies. Right in the front, the gentleman behind, and the two on that side, and you as the last one. Thank you.
General, Samgelo Masego from Jacaranda FM. One question, General. Are South Africans safe at South African airports? Because seemingly, with 6 incidents happening at OR Tambo and the lack of high security, that would cause an allegation that South Africans are not safe at the airports. And thirdly, don't you have a problem with police branding being wrapped around vehicles that are not belonging to the police, since you say this vehicle that was found in Mamelodi was not a police vehicle but had branding of the police? Isn't this a problem to you? And what are you doing to curb such incidences from happening in future? Because in other incidences not related to the airport, this has happened where South Africans have been robbed with cars being branded by police colors. Thank you.
Mr. Maseko, just one follow-up there to that. Can AXA please reveal to us exactly the number of criminal incidents that have taken place, let's say, over the past 12 months at OR Tambo? Then, General, have any members of the SAPS been taken in for questioning at this stage of the investigation? And is the State Security Agency involved at this point? And then further, the SAPS vehicles you mentioned that were recovered in Mamelodi, would it be possible to have some photographs of those pictures or to take us to go and see them just to confirm your reports at this stage? Thank you.
Thank you. The next question over there.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Anton Meyer from Pretoria FM. The iPad head, Mr. Robert McBride, spoke about, he told Parliament about a war being waged between SABC officials and the Hawks at the OR Tambo International Airport. When you review your security measures at the airport, will you also speak to this alleged war between Hawks and SABC officials at the airport? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Leanne George from Rapport newspaper. I just want to ask a related question on intelligence. The amount of cash in transit heists have increased in the last book year, according to the police's crime figures. Do you think that the police's intelligence capacity and cooperation between the SSA and the police needs any improvement to tackle this kind of thing? Because this kind of thing needs to be investigated from an intelligence point of view. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last question.
I just wanted to get clarity from AXA in terms of the number of criminal incidents that happened over the past 2 years and what exactly was done after those incidents. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, General. We have 2 questions for AXA. I think they will probably take it after you have answered.
Thanks, Sally. First, Leanne, no, your information is not correct. We do not have an increase in the number of cash in transit. The increase recorded in our statistics relates to car hijackings, not in respect of cash heist. In actual fact, if you go and look at the crime statistics over a number of years, cash heists have decreased. That's a fact. I don't know which ones were you looking at. Our problem relates to car hijackings, the trios. It looks like you are engaging with me while I'm trying to respond. I allowed you an opportunity to ask a question. Allow me to respond.
Sorry,
now,
General.
if we talk about
it's the past book
crime
year.
intelligence, of course, anyone will be worried if a crime like this one, where such volumes are being taken by a group which when you look at what they have done, you get an indication that it was well planned. It's not an overnight thing that has happened. We of course, as part of our review, also are looking at their role in this regard. Could we not have proactively laid our hands on the information to allow us to prevent it? If we were not able to proactively lay our hands on the information and the crime is committed, how quick through intelligence gathering can we get to the resolution thereof? What I'm convinced of is that they are hard at work, and I think once we have made the progress, we will come back to you. Let me allow you to talk to what you were talking to, Sally. Maybe she can clarify a question.
Okay, thank you, Leanne.
Sorry, I meant the previous book year, 2015-16 book year, not the 3/4 statistics you released recently. In the previous book year, it showed that cash and transit heists had increased from the 2014-15 book year.
Leanne, let me not get involved in dialogue here, but I am still convinced that what has been on the increased will be the hijackings, not necessarily the heists. I am convinced of that. But if I were to be wrong, I'm more than prepared to come back to you. But the fact of the matter is, whether it is cash in transit, whether it is car hijackings, it's a crime. And we have a responsibility to deal with any of those crimes proactively and reactively. And in all, you still need intelligence to play a part as a critical player. But I'll come back to you on that one outside this engagement. Anton, in as far as the issue you have raised, there is no war between subs and hawks. They are anyway a family. They anyway work together. I can't respond to what was said outside this space. We of course had that unfortunate incident where 2 members died around the airport, which is a subject of investigation. But I am not going to agree with that version of a war between the police. Then we will be endangering society if we are to be at war instead of focusing on the work that we are supposed to be doing. Carl, in the statement we said the investigation is on. People will be interviewed, and that will include the members of the South African Police Service, people working for AXA, the security, everyone that is of interest who would have been there during the commission of that offense. But there is not one taken for questioning at this stage. It's the normal process of investigation, which culminates into people being interviewed to piece things together. I thought you will not say the police cars that were there, because I already told you that they are not police cars. So maybe somewhere when you write your story, say, no police vehicles involved. It was a fake story to say there were police cars involved. You may say bogus police cars were involved. Now you must begin to ask all those people who do the markings out there who are in business, how did they go and mark a vehicle which doesn't belong to the police with police markings? But they are being processed as part of the investigation. I don't think it will be correct at this stage to make them available, but as and when an opportunity presents itself, we will do so. State security, not as far as I know. Their involvement will be on a different level. We do have, because that's a national key point, we do have state security playing a part, and we will continue to collaborate in the manner that we collaborate within the confines of the laws in this regard. Maybe let me allow, there was a question, Samgel. You are very safe. The CEO will tell you that that airport is processing 20 million plus people a year on an annual basis. I don't know how many fatalities have we recorded in a year at that place. As far as I'm concerned, that must be evidence of the airport is a secure space. We are doing our best. We can never say that there are watertight compartments as far as security is concerned. Like here we have experienced a breach, and that's what demands from us to continuously review our situation. And we are not only talking about the OR Tambo International Airport, all airports in our country, we have got presence as the police, as AXA, and so on. We are doing well. One incident cannot define us as institutions that are not doing well, and people carrying on creating this impression that the airport is a very dangerous space. Maybe to the CEO, there was one or two questions that could be responded to.
Thank you, Commissioner. To both Carl and Malungelo, I think you asked about the number of crime incidents. That is unfortunately a question that I cannot answer because that mandate lies with the South African police. So that is a statistic I'm sure that you will get from them. However, let me respond to what we do generally about incidents of crime at the airport. We have various forums that meet and monitor various ongoing threats. And then we have appropriate responses. And this is not just AXA. This is a collection of AXA, the South African police, the airlines, the ground handlers, every entity that has a role to play. We continue to monitor activities and failures. And that's why we have these forums, to continuously take corrective action when they are failures. So that is generally how we respond to general threats, not just to the public, but to aviation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. If there's anyone who hasn't asked a question yet, who's got a pressing need to ask a question, I've got someone at the back. I can just see the hand. And this lady in the front, do you have a pressing need, ANN7, to ask another question? Okay, then I'll close it after that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Lazarus from Sunnyside Times. General, I wanted to ask you, was the money being declared, or was it an illegal shipment of money? Or are you working with SARS or Reserve Bank? This is what I wanted to find out. Was money being declared to leave the country?
Okay, thank you. The next question.
Afternoon. It's Patricia Fasaki from the SABC. I have a question that's not directly linked to the OR Tambo heist. It has to do with the trucking heist that's been taking place in Gauteng. Basically, we just want an update on the investigation that's going on with the two generals that are apparently or allegedly linked to the ongoing heists that have been happening in Gauteng, that they are being investigated. And on Tuesday, of course, a sergeant was arrested that was linked to the trucking heist. What's the update on that matter in terms of the investigation into the involvement of these two generals in the trucking heist in Gauteng and across the country?
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to ask, the securities that were deployed during that time when incident occurred, were those guards armed to tackle an attempted heist of such a nature that took place on Tuesday? And is there no mechanism for established security to raise any kind of alarm in a situation like this? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. General, you can respond, please.
Thanks. Lazarus, if that was an illegal cargo, it will not even have been processed to the point where it was. So I think we are satisfied that there was good reason why the cargo was destined to leave the country. It would have went through the necessary processes. Let me leave it there. Treasure, you are saying things that I hear for the first time here, so maybe you must provide me with who those generals are. You seem to be knowing more than what I know. That makes you an intelligence operative. And in respect of this sergeant who was arrested, no, I don't have the details at this stage. If he was arrested yesterday, I was the whole of the day in KwaZulu-Natal. I may want to check what we are talking about. I'm not able to express myself on the tracking and the generals involved. I've got no idea what we're talking of here. Calden, you know, guys, sometimes it is very easy to say things if you were never caught in a situation like that. Yes, I'm talking about the airport. Those people who came with those bogus police vehicles were armed, and they came there with one thing in mind, to lay their hands on whatever they wanted to take. So even if these security guys were armed, they would have been overpowered in that situation. And that is detail that we said, leave it to us to do an investigation and provide you with some answers at a point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, General. Thank you, media colleagues and colleagues from the police. We are now closed for business for this media briefing.